So I remember when we was at church one time, you was telling us the last time you had got God let you loose. You was like, if you let me loose, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
You need to tell that story.
All right.
Because they need to see what God did for you.
Yeah. So yeah. So it was 2018. Had a gun. Mm-hmm. You know, because like I said, I was still dibbling and dabbling a little bit. About to go hit a little swerve. A swerve is a play with drugs. Like boom. So we ended up getting pulled over. Like, boom. So I'm like, oh, man, I throw it in the glove department. Like, say you don't know whose it is. Like, no. They take us down to the detective's office. Like, boom. Like, all right, you gonna let these girls go to jail for this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, we know it's your gun. And we're looking at your background. I don't care what that say. That ain't mine. You ain't get it off me. So they next door talking to one of the girls that was with me. So you just gonna sit there and take this gun from him and da-da-da-da-da-da. Long story short, let us go that night. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, like, ooh, like you super cool. Whenever you need me, call me. So every week, brother, you got here. You kept it real. Yeah. Hey, I need here. You got it. Like you help me now. We're looking out. So probably about a year after that, y'all know what a future indictment is? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm headed to Cleveland. We get pulled over. They like, Mr. Price, step out the car. For what? They said, you got a warrant. Like, a warrant for what? Such. I'm like, oh, that gun, it came back. So I go to jail in Cleveland. They had to expedite me back here to Columbus. So I was probably in there about a week, bonded out. Immediately, like, bonded out. So I'm like, man, I'm looking at the charges. Altogether, I could have did about 3 to 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, not again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm down, sliding down the road in my life. Like, God, not right now. Yeah. Like, my son graduate next year. Like, that was 2018. So no, he was going to high school. Okay, that's right, because it took a while for the future to come back. So that was 18, 19, 20, 2021. I was fighting the case from 2021 all the way to last year, last November. So when I talk about anxiety, like I'm really having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, not scared of being locked up, like I can't do the time, but here we go again, like
so much.
And this is the wrong time for me to go. Like, bro, like I'm coaching football, my players gonna be heartbroken.
Everything I've been preaching about, talking about, trying to.
Yeah, at the time, like, I got a girl, my son get ready to graduate, and I'm not letting them know what's going on. Like,
so you was dealing with it internally?
Yeah, just me. Like, I'm even telling my baby mom, like, nah, somebody used my name, like, you know what I'm saying? So I got to prove it wasn't me because I didn't want her stressing out. So, like, it was rough. I'm like, man. So long story short, the lawyer was like, he's like, man, I see you got a pretty extensive past. I'm like, here we go. I'm like, yeah. He said, man, you got 5 gun charges and drive by. I'm like, it's like, man, we have to, we have to wait this prosecutor out. We just got to keep getting continuances. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, whatever you got to do, man. Like, right. So we continuing it probably about 1.5 years, 2 years. He like, it's funny because I remember the movie. He's like, hey, we wearing them down. We wearing them down. I'm like, man, I'm cracking up. I'm like, all right. I'm like, so what it's looking like? He like, the gun spec, I would have to, only way for me to get the gun spec dropped, because that's mandatory time, I would have to plead to the gun and the cocaine. So I'm like, all right, so if I plead to these two and that get thrown out, like how much time am I looking at now? He's like, probably about 2.5, it's if, you know what I'm saying, you go to jail, but he like, you know what I'm saying, but you could possibly get paper. I'm like, man, like, I'm ready to go to trial, like take my chances, like I don't want to do a day. Like, this is where I'm at with it. Like, God, I don't got a week in me. I'll pass out in 30 days. I'm like, I can't do it. So I'm like, man, he's like, all right, man, we gonna see. So my brother ended up going with me. My older brother, he ended up going downtown. You know what I'm saying? Me, him, and the lawyer was talking. So basically, he looked at me. He's like, bro, like, you've been working. You active in the community. And this happened 3 years ago. Like, so this is how long this been going on. He like, go ahead and take that. I'm like, still thinking like, there's a chance I can do some time though, right? He like, He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. He said, I believe you good. I said, I'm gonna take your word. Signed my name.
Did.
So
Did
slow.
not want to sign it.
God. And I'm talking about, so now it got continued for about 5 months. Every night, every morning, I said, God, if I beat this case, I'm done with everything. That was my prayer for 5 months.
For 5 months straight.
Straight. Every morning, every night, throughout the day. God, I beat this case, I'm done. With everything they got to do with the streets. I'm done. I didn't even tell nobody else this. I'm mentally getting myself prepared. So it come the day of court. Kind of, I feel good, but I don't.
Yeah.
Because I know it is a possibility.
Yeah, you don't know.
That I'm about to go do 2 years, 2.5 years. So my son go with me. One of my brothers, my baby mom, I forgot somebody else went with me. So we in the courtroom to the judge. You know, she look at me. She reading over stuff like, boom. I'm just watching her temperature like. So I remember my pops told me, he said, don't panic when you're in that courtroom. Just keep saying freedom, freedom, freedom. He said, just keep saying that to yourself. He said, the energy you take in there is the energy that's going to get, you know what I'm saying, give off. So I'm like, all right, let me do what he says. So in my head, I just keep saying freedom, freedom, freedom. So I started to relax. So the judge was like, I see, you've been active in the community and you've been working and So I'm like, She's like, as a prosecutor, he have anything to say? He said, yeah, well, I see, he's had such and such and such and such and such and such. Oh, bringing up all these old cases. I'm like, here we go. I'm like, here we go.
Freedom.
Yep. I'm like, man, come on now, God. I'm like, I'm telling you, I ain't lying to you this time. I done lied before, but I'm not lying this time. Like, please. So at the end of what the prosecutor said, he said, but it has been 4 years since this situation. He hasn't been in any trouble. He's been to every court date on time. I recommend probation, but, Judge, you get the final call. So she look at me again, go back, get to reading stuff. She talked to my lawyer. My lawyer was like, yeah, he does X, Y, and Z in the community, works and does a lot with people, helping people out, blah, blah, blah. She look at me again. She's like, Mr. Price, you got anything to say? I said, yeah, I know I made a lot of mistakes in life. And I know I came in this courtroom and lied before, but I'm just asking for a chance. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the same person that got caught with that gun 3.5 years ago. Like, I'm a different person, you know what I'm saying? So, the speech went on for a while, so she looked. So, like I said, and it's crazy because, when I go to court, you hear everything, but certain things you hear a little more. Yeah, so she like, well, I see you got 5 days jail time. That's before I bonded out. So I'm like, no, she ain't about to give me 5 days credit on top of what I'm about to go do. You can keep them 5 days. Yeah. I done kind of I'm like, oh, man, a million things ran through my head as soon as she said, well, I see you got 5 days jail time. So I'm going to give you 5. All I heard was 5. Yeah. I'm like,
5 years.
Yep. She like, I'm going to give you 5 days credit towards probation. I'm going to suspend the probation today. So I'm like, now I'm getting mixed up. I'm like,
now I'm confused.
You going to suspend the probation today? She is like, in this case, it's dismissed. She's like, you continue to do good stuff in the community, and I don't want to see you back in this courtroom again.